Hello, my name is Laura House, and this is my digital photo story about what makes an effective KP classroom, how to create literacy rich environments, and discussing what classroom talk is. What makes an effective KP literacy classroom? There are various factors that contribute to an effective and successful classroom. Firstly, the teacher needs to consider the children and that they carry with them a virtual backpack. Within this backpack, each student carries with them a number of practices, resources, skills, knowledge, and values that are specific to each student. An effective literacy classroom also encourages and promotes students to learn through writing, creating, talking, listening, reading, and viewing materials and resources. An effective classroom is a literacy-rich environment with the availability and abundance of texts, learning materials, resources, and technology to cater for each individual child. Creating a literacy-rich environment within the classroom makes for an effective and successful KP classroom through the use of literacy programs and approaches that are developed, implemented, and are adaptable for each student. Such programs are effective and successful when the teacher understands what the students can know, can do, and can understand. From there, further development in learning is achievable. Literacy-rich classrooms and programs are loaded with text materials that support literacy development and provides opportunities to develop all language modes: speaking, listening, reading, writing, viewing, and creating. Different areas and spaces in the classroom are essential for an effective KP classroom because each area is focused on a particular area of development. For instance, there are a few main areas that are typically seen in a KP classroom, such as a book corner to cater and develop children's reading skills, and writing areas, which are usually located at a table at the centre of the room, which is aided by writing resources. Also, depending on the socio-economic status of the school, but some classrooms also offer technology resources that can be interactive for students throughout class in the areas of reading, writing, and speaking activities. There are many types of texts available to children at all different ages. Having books made available to students helps create an effective KP classroom, especially when the teacher makes a conscious decision about the types of text resources available. These books that are offered should make connections across maths, science, English, social studies, and other areas. These texts also range in difficulty, genre, style of writing, and whether it's fiction or non-fiction. Multicultural texts contribute to an effective KP classroom and are a great way of helping students become aware of other cultures around them in their homes, communities, and the world. Providing multicultural texts also provides students with a sense of belonging when their own culture is recognised, such as books can also increase children's sensitivity to those who are different from themselves. Multicultural texts improve students' knowledge about the world and help them realise that although there are differences, there are also many similarities. These books can be fiction, non-fiction, folklore, legends, and poetry. Learning materials help learners better understand and retain information when words, ideas, and concepts are associated with images. Visual images help students make the connection between information received and prior knowledge. Effective KP classrooms have a range of materials that aid with the development and learning of reading and writing and are accessible to students throughout the day as a form of guidance. These resources help with alphabet knowledge in terms of recognizing and naming letters, recognizing letters that make up a word, and knowing the difference between uppercase and lowercase letters. Another type of resource for the students is a reference sheet on how each letter of the alphabet and numbers are written. KP students often mix up these letters and numbers and are sometimes written back to front. So this type of resource is very beneficial towards a young learner in terms of their writing skills. It also allows them to self-identify and self-evaluate their own work. In an effective KP classroom, there are different types of assessments that teachers will initiate and document. Assessments allow the teacher to evaluate the student's progress and achievements with having the sole purpose of supplying feedback to students and monitoring their interests and needs. Running records are a type of formative assessment that is designed to the student's fluency in reading aloud. After this type of assessment, it can be seen if a particular type of book is too easy, too hard, or at an appropriate level for that student. Checklists are also used as a general information about students' progress, but it can also serve as different purposes, each to aid the teacher in identifying what has been achieved and what needs improvement. Technology is very accessible in today's society, and depending on the status of the school, most classrooms offer some sort of technology, whether it be computers, laptops, tablets, smartboards, or a TV. Technology can be used in an effective KP classroom as a support for learning and understanding other types of multimodal literacies in meaningful ways. Group collaboration as a whole class is possible with interactive activities as well as a larger audience for the group reading. With technology, students have the opportunity of learning the codes and ways of interacting with different technology and learning to read, understand, and make sense of different semiotic systems. Classroom talk refers to the type of talk that is happening between the teacher and students, and whether the talk is learning focused, academically productive, or dialogic. Classroom talk is usually academic when a teacher asks a question related to something just learned. This type of talk allows the students to learn from others, compare and contrast ideas through the use of teacher directing and guiding discussions. Throughout classroom talk, there is one main structure of the talk that is recognizable in most classrooms. This is the initiation, response, feedback structure. With this type of talk, the teacher is in control of who gets to talk, the particular development topic, and what specific questions are asked. This type of structure also sees that the teacher has two turns to talk, the question and the feedback, whereas the student gets one turn to talk, which is the response. According to Edward Groves, this style of talk is the student's turn of guessing what the teacher is thinking, instead of actually understanding what the question is asking. Edward Groves also states that we want students to talk, to articulate and extend their thinking, development and reasoning capabilities and respond to others' ideas. When the teacher implements the initiation, response, feedback structure, the teacher can deliberately extend onto students' responses by allowing the students more time to respond and by asking thought-prompting questions. By changing the third turn in classroom talk towards a more dialogic, participatory context opens up a next turn for the students to engage in talk with a higher degree of intellectual focus. This type of talk allows for students to extend knowledge and deepen thought processes as they agree, disagree, explain, explore, justify, and debate through these kinds of dialogic talk. According to Edward Groves, active listening is a kind of talk which moves teachers and students towards clarifying the meanings students are making when they take their turns. By repeating teachers' information, students are demonstrating that they have listened, considered, and thought about the ideas, concepts, and opinions of others. This type of talk can be used as a resource for learning through the ideas and understanding of others. In terms of guided questions asked by the teacher during classroom talk, open up the possibility of high degree thinking and focus. Open-ended or guided questions help guide students' responses. High thinking and understanding takes place when these questions are discussed among the students through a collaborative group. This allows time for students to voice understandings, opinions, and consider the other ideas and concepts.